Hey, what's happening there, Prime Fitness folks out there in the world? Eric here, coming to you today with a few stretches that I think you guys will all really like to help kind of relieve any kind of tension or discomfort or maybe even possible pain you're having in your lower back, maybe in your hips, maybe you're just feeling tight and all really wound up in this area from all the sitting that we're doing recently. I thought you might really enjoy these. So here's a few things we're going to do. You need a tennis ball. So if you have a tennis ball, grab one of those. And or if you don't have a tennis ball, you can use a trigger point ball, but nothing harder than a trigger point ball. Tennis ball or trigger point ball is what you need at home. And then just your body. And we're going to get into a couple of different release techniques with the tennis ball. And then we're going to get into some stretching as well too. All right, give it a try. Check them out. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, you can always shoot us an email at eric@primefitnessmd.com. Let me know what you think. Thanks, guys. Okay, so here's how we use a tennis ball to do a little low back relief for you as some trigger point release. So you're going to take a tennis ball. This could also be a trigger point ball if you own one of those. You just want to make sure it's not something that has a little bit of give to it. You don't want to use a lacrosse ball or like a golf ball that's just too hard. So you want to make sure you have something that has a little bit of give to it so that you can create a little bit of compression. So here we go. I'm going to show you how we're going to get this going here. First off, I'm going to get down and I'm going to do everything on my right side just so you can see it here by the camera. I'm going to take the tennis ball, I'm going to put it somewhere in my lower back, okay, right down there, somewhere below my rib cage and above my belt line on the soft tissue. I do not want the ball on my spine. All right, now once I'm here, hands by my side, I'm going to first actively use my breath. Inhale, exhale. Now as I exhale, I want to create intra-abdominal pressure and push down onto the ball. Inhale, exhale, push down onto the ball. One more time. Inhale, exhale, push down onto the ball. Get your rib cage small. Now that I'm there, I'm going to keep my abdominal muscles nice and tight, pressing into the ball. Nice, normal breathing pattern. Now that I'm here, I'm going to get my feet underneath my hips. I'm going to do little tiny micro bridges. So I'm going to come up and do a little pelvic tilt. Hips up, hips down. Just a little bit, only about an inch, maybe 2 inches or so off the ground. As you're doing this, it should feel like someone's taking a thumb and massaging your lower back with a thumb going up and down, okay? Nice, smooth, slow, and controlled, okay? Then we're going to get to the point where we need to stop, okay? Keep your hips up and elevated just a little bit, and then we're just going to kind of rock your hips left and right a little bit. We're just going to rock left and right, and now the massage feels like it's going left and right. The ball is not moving, right? The ball is staying pretty stationary. I'm just moving my body left and right. Okay, good. And then we can stop from there. Hips down. Now go ahead and take your right knee, grab it with your right hand, and pull back. Ooh, that's a big stretch. Okay, lots of pressure. Excellent. You can put that down. Good. And then we can take the ball, and we would then move it either up or down and find a new tender spot to work from. And then once we've done that cycle twice on that side, we would then move over and do that same thing over on the left side. Okay? You can go back and forth, if you need to another time or two, but I prefer that if once you've done it, one cycle or so, then wait again until later in the day if you're still feeling like you need a little more massage work using the tennis ball. But again, this could be any time that you feel like you've got some tension or some tightness in your lower back, especially from all the sitting that we're all doing right now nowadays. So give that a try using a tennis ball in your lower back. All right, guys. Okay, we're back, and now we're going to use the tennis ball in our rear end, like in our butt and our glute muscles, to try and relax the piriformis area of our rear end. So we're going to take a tennis ball. Again, I'm using a tennis ball because it's what I have accessible to me today, but you can also use a trigger point ball by the company Trigger Point Performance. Those are really handy because they're a little firmer than a tennis ball, but trust me, this will do the trick for most of you out there. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our legs out nice and straight, hold the ball in your right hand, put it here just right on the inside of your right hip, butt cheek area. Now once I'm here, my hands are going down on the ground. Left foot is in as I pivot my body over onto the ball on my right side. Okay, you notice that I'm kind of leaning over to my right. My right kneecap is pointing out to the side there. Then I want to make sure I lean back on the ball, putting as much weight on the ball as I can. Big breath in. Exhale. Sink down onto the ball. Another time, big breath in. Exhale. Sink down onto the ball. Now once you feel like you've got all your body weight on the ball, from here, take your right leg and lift the whole thing off the ground 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Fantastic. Then we'll slide your right foot in. Okay, put it next to your left foot. Take your right knee and open it away from the other one 5 times. 2, 3, oh boy, 4, and 5. Very good. Keeping your knees pinned together, we're now going to go both knees to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, one more time, and 5. Good, and then one final time, you take your right leg out in front, and we're going to go 5 straight up leg lifts. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Sink down because you probably held yourself up a little bit because it's probably pretty tender back there, and then come off the ball. Once you've done that cycle on your right side, go ahead and do it on your left side. And then if you want to repeat and do one more cycle on each side, give it a shot. As you finish up, you'll want to stand up, okay? Oh, kind of losing on the camera. You want to stand up and give yourself some hip circles, right? And see how it feels as you kind of move your hip around. All right? So that is using a tennis ball or a trigger point ball to create a little massage and a little release in your glutes down around your piriformis region. Hope that helps. Give it a try. Hey, so stretching out our hamstrings and our hips are another really good way to help relieve any kind of discomfort we're having in our lower back. So I'm going to show you a couple of different things that I really like to do to help with that area in terms of hamstrings and hips. So we're going to get started down on the ground. First one, we're going to go through a cycle of different ways to stretch out your hamstrings. I think we're all kind of used to just really bringing our leg up and trying to crank it back and get it back as far as we can, when in reality that's not really what we want to try and do. I like a little bit more of an active stretch to kind of get a better range of motion out of the joint. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to lay back, get myself down. I'm going to bring my right leg over top of my knee. I'm going to put my hands behind my thigh right here. Now, first things first, I'm going to make sure my ankle's nice and relaxed. I'm going to make sure I'm feeling pretty relaxed. And I don't want to pull back. I just want to use my hands as a backstop to not let my leg go forward. Okay? Now I'm going to flex my quad muscles, which are the tops of my thighs, leave my ankle relaxed, and straighten my leg up. And bend. Straighten and bend. I'm going to do this 5 times. Good. Here comes 4. And then here comes 5. Good. Now when I come up for the next 5, I'm going to go ahead and bend my ankle. So I'm pulling my toes towards my shin. And I'm going 1. Ooh, now it's down into my calf. 2. Big stretch. 3. 4. One more time. And 5. Now I'm going to add another motion to it all. I'm going to keep flexing my foot, but I'm also going to bring my head and my shoulders off the ground a little bit. So as I bring my leg up, I bring my head up, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then bend my knee and bring it back down. Then I would repeat that same sequence on my left side, and then I probably would come back and do that again on both sides, 5 repetitions for each one, and try and create some relaxation in the hamstring area, etc. Know that you just need to take your time with it. Don't rush it. Be slow and controlled, and really think about activating the opposite side. So if you're trying to stretch your hamstrings, We really want to try and flex your quads to get that leg moving. All right, stay tuned because I'm going to have your hip stretch next. All right, like promised, here's one of my favorite hip stretches that I love to do on a regular basis, especially if I've been seated a lot during the day behind the computer, on a Zoom, doing computer work, or sitting in the car for a long time. It's really simple. It's called the figure 4 stretch, and you're going to start with yourself down on the ground on your back. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my left leg back. I'm going to bring my right leg, cross it over my left. Now, make sure that my ankle bone right here, the bony part of my ankle, isn't digging into my thigh, because that doesn't feel very good. So I'm going to make sure that I'm right here, set up like so in position. Now, once I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and take my right hand, reach it between my legs. As I pick my leg up, reach around the front of my left leg. So I've got both my fingers laced together around my left shin, and now I'm just going to gently pull. Not a whole lot, right? Now, if you're really tight, and if this doesn't want to go anywhere, you might find that you're up here holding on, and that's okay, because if you hold on for about 20-30 seconds, you'll find that it starts to relax, starts to give away, and you can bring your head down and relax. Now, once you're here, okay, you really want to look at holding this stretch for 40 to 60 seconds at minimum. And here's why. It takes that long for your brain to send signals down to those muscles and tell them to relax. If you try and go too fast, or if you try and go too hard and try and really crush this stretch backwards, your body's never going to get a chance to send the signals of relaxation. Stretching is all about getting things to relax and allow yourself to get into bigger ranges of motion. Okay? So we're just going to hold here for a few seconds. We're coming close to the first 60 seconds of hold here. Okay? And now I'm going to start to visualize a little bit, opening my right knee away from my chest, creating a little bit of rotation in the hip joint. So I'm not just pulling back, but I'm also rotating over. Creating a big stretch feeling, big relaxing feeling in the outside hip area down here in my glutes. Okay? That's about a minute. I'm going to relax it down, bring it up, and from there I would do the other side the exact same way. Crossing my left over my right, bringing it back, reaching my left hand through my legs, reaching the other hand around the front of my other shin. So that's a good one for the figure 4, we call it the figure 4 stretch, and that's a good one for your outside of your hip, your glutes, and for a lot of us, it will help relieve any kind of tension we're feeling in our lower back. Give it a try, let me know what you think. Thanks. Okay, last one here that we're going to work on to help relieve pressure in the lower back, any kind of tension we're feeling down there, is actually going to be a stretch for the front. It is for your hip flexors and your quads a little bit, but it's going to really help relax these muscles in the front to maybe help relax the muscles in the back that are having a really hard time and might be fired up. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to set this up first. Number one, get your foot down. I'm going to start with my right side, right? So we're going to have our left foot down, flat on the floor. And if you need something to give yourself some balance, get it, right? Because when you're stretching, you don't want balance to have to be the issue here to have to worry about. I want you to go ahead and find time to relax. And if you can't relax in the stretch because you're wobbly going side to side, this isn't going to do you any good. So find something to give yourself some stability if you need it, and that's fine, use it, okay? So now, here we go. Left foot is forward. I'm going to make sure that my right toe is tucked underneath me behind me. Now, you can see my right knee is right underneath my right hip, and this is where I want to be. Now, the first thing I'm going to do before I do any kind of position moving is tuck my pelvis, right? I want to really make sure I engage my abs so that I level out my pelvis and then squeeze your right butt cheek. Right knee down, right butt cheek flex. Then, only then, I'm going to shift my weight forward just a little bit. Boom, right there. Now I've created a big stretch, maybe coming from about mid-thigh all the way up to where my hip bone meets. Feels like a really good stretch. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take my right hand and bring it straight up. I'm using my left hand here on my left knee for balance and stability, but I'm going to reach up like I'm trying to grab something off the ceiling, lift up nice and high, and then once I've gotten that up, then once I've gone all the way up and I can't go any further, I'll reach slightly to the left, slightly to the opposite side, creating a much bigger stretch feeling all through here. Now, like all the other stretches that we've talked about, you want to make sure that you're holding this for about 40 to 60 seconds. Making sure that you're keeping your glute muscle contracted in the back, so it's nice and tight, so it allows your brain time to send signals to the front to relax. Holding this right here. Focus on your breathing as well too. While you're keeping everything else tight, make sure that you're having nice, controlled breathing patterns. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And you can feel that when you exhale through the mouth, your body naturally wants to relax and get into the movement a little bit bigger, creating a bigger range of motion. We're going to hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Relax everything right here. And we've done your right side. Now that that feels good, okay, I would go ahead and switch over, do the left side, same thing, holding it for about 40 to 60 seconds. Go through the steps of how you set up the stretch. Hold it for about 40 to 60 seconds, and then repeat and do each side one more time. You won't regret it. I promise it'll feel really good, especially if you've been sitting in the car, sitting on your computer, at your desk for an extended period of time. I know it might be hard to get out from the car and put your knee down on the road, but this is a great stretch if you're on a long car trip and you can find a way to do it. It's a good one for you too. All right, give it a try. Let me know what you think. Hope you guys enjoy.